a personality shaped by being an athlete and a background in mainstream sports media, I found that the stories I was most interested in telling were the ones often overlooked, the ones that might not otherwise be told, the ones that show the intangible and not just the highlight reel. The Sports Council is about highlighting the great, the good, the unique, and everything in between in the Pacific Northwest sports world. I'm Jamie Council. Thanks for joining me.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Welcome to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. Well, the countdown to the Water Follies continues, the APBA Gold Cup in town. The last week of July, and joining us is race director Aaron Stevens, oversees all of this, and how are you feeling about this time?
Well, you know, there's some times where it gets a little stressful, but it's a good event for the community, and everybody loves boats, and we are Hydrotown. So
we are Hydrotown, and looking back at testing, it wasn't the way you wanted it to go, and you're the one that has to deal with this. So why don't you tell us what your job is and how that affects the way the Water Follies or H1 testing goes?
Well, my job is to schedule and create this event. So I do all the permitting. I take care of the Coast Guard, the city, the county. So I'm dealing with a lot of that stuff, you know, and then, of course, an accident happened. So that was another situation. Fortunately, the gentleman is healthy and good and standing upright and minimal damage to the boat.
Absolutely. So best case scenario there, Gunnar O'Farrell going flying at H1 testing. And it's funny, the Sports Council has covered the Water Follies last year. I was out on one of the patrol boats or one of the rescue boats that deals with that. So I feel like I'm learning just all the nuances of the Water Follies and all pieces that you help put together.
Yes, it's one of those things where we really have a lot of moving parts. You know, next you're going to be parking cranes.
Perfect. I'm ready for it. Sign me up. And so how does that all come together? Because it's not just about the boats, but Water Follies, you guys are, you know, the permitting, but also making an actual event with food vendors and a lot of other things too.
Yes. We're trying to get more involved, more community involvement. The community loves these events. They think they're fun. It's just a matter of having fun. We're looking at doing a concert for the Gold Cup. So it just, you got to make it a festival, and it just attracts more people to come down and hang out by the river, and it's a fun deal.
What's your favorite part about the Water Follies?
My favorite part about the Water Follies is all my friends. They're all my friends here, and so I get to see my local friends, get to interact with my regional friends that come to town. So that's one of the best parts, is just seeing everyone. You know, it's like right now I got probably 4 boat race moms here. My mom's down here. My daughter's down here. My best friend's down here hanging out, having fun. So we get to enjoy everyone's company. And that's, you know, that's what boat racing is about, is bringing everyone together and having fun.
And that translates obviously into what you do with the Water Follies. And this year you have an H1 boat.
Yes, I do.
So tell me about that.
So I got asked by Water Follies to track down a display boat. So I've made a couple of phone calls and I finally tracked one down. So now I get the privilege of being responsible for an H1 hydroplane.
Nice.
And it's the 1984 Atlas Van Lines turbine. Then it went to Miller American, and then Exide battery, and Miss Go Bowling, and it's leased from Mike and Lori Jones. So they are the owners of it, but I am allowed to use it, and we plan to use it for a while.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yes, it does.
So if people want the display boat at their business, if they're listening thinking that would be cool, are you the person to contact about that? Is that something that you guys do?
Yes, contact Tri-City Water Follies.
And that's something that you guys will do,
yes.
is bring it out to businesses?
Yes. Yeah. And we're regional. So we can go from, Tri-Cities to Moses Lake, Ellensburg, through the Columbia Basin. And maybe even Spokane. Just depends on if it works out.
So Water Follies is an event, obviously, in Tri-Cities the last week of July. But a lot of the stuff that you do specifically as somebody that is all about the sport of boat racing is just promoting the sport. And you are involved in a lot more races than just the Water Follies too, as those that have listened to the show have known, as you are a friend of the show. Why is it so important to keep on promoting the sport of boat racing? Because
actually, just to keep it grow. Let's get new fans out there. Let's have fun. I now sit on the board of directors of American Powerboat, and I'm the region chairman. So I deal with everybody nationally, but it's also like, hey, in the Columbia Basin and in Washington State, we're the only area growing with new race sites.
Yeah.
So it's about keeping the sport growing and not quitting. So we're doing a good job, I think. We're adding a race site every year. So I think that's a plus on my part and on a few other people's parts that I really can thank. So it's just one of those things. We just want to keep this sport growing. That's what we need. If you don't grow it, how do you save it? And it's not even about saving it. It's just, let's go racing.
Let's go racing. And we covered a lot of great reasons, but one reason why people should come to the Tri-City Water Follies the last week of July.
It's beautiful, it's sunny, and there's not a bad view in the house.
There you go. Again, Aaron Stevens, race director of the Tri-City Water Follies. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jamie.
This is the countdown to the Tri-City Water Follies happening the last week of July. You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports.
What goes better with your Father's Day barbecue than donuts? Nothing. Celebrate Dad with a dozen from your local Krispy Kreme and add a dozen original glazed for just $9.99 to make the day even more special. School's out, so congratulations to all the graduates. Summer fundraising? Still available. Book yours now. Check the Krispy Kreme app for new donut drops and deals. That's Krispy Kreme, 2805 Dupertail in Richland. Come in with a sweet tooth, leave with a smile.
For decades, some dealers have played the same game, adding pointless accessories, raising prices, marking things up with market shifts. In 2020, it was chip shortages. Now, pricing uncertainty. But McCurley Chevrolet didn't raise prices then, and we won't now. We've always priced vehicles the right way for our community. Fair, transparent, and pressure-free. Skip the games. This is the way buying should feel. McCurley Chevrolet, your way home.
Inconveniences can happen at, inconvenient times. JRT Mechanical has plumbers and HVAC technicians available 24/7 if an emergency does arise. Or if you feel like your house isn't cooling like it used to, or if you're tired of a hose leaking from last winter's freeze, JRT is an honest, reliable company that's been in the Pacific Northwest for more than 3 decades. Give JRT Mechanical a call at 509-314-4314 or visit jrtmechanical.com.
If you've got a winery, brewery, or dairy, why buy industrial parts and supplies from across the country? Central Industrial Sales is your local source for supplies and equipment for the dairy, food processing, winery, and brewing industries. We specialize in custom fabrication, industrial cleaning equipment, sanitary fittings, valves, pumps, chemicals, and many other supplies. Everything's available through our website, by phone, or by dropping by our office. Call 509-375-4032 or find us at centralindustrialsales.com.
You're listening to Jamie Council on the Sports Council.
Welcome back to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. Continuing our countdown to the Water Follies, joined by Ms. Beacon Plumbing, U9 driver Corey Peabody. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Tri-Cities is a good place for you to be historically.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? It seems like you always have good outcomes on the Columbia River and the Tri-Cities.
Yeah, so far that's true. I just think we put ourselves in the right spot at the right time. That's what a lot of it is, and been able to get down to the first turn in that final and come out of the first turn either with our nose ahead or pretty close, and then just running strong for the next 5 laps. So we've been very fortunate here, and coming out today and getting able to run some laps back on this course and the new course and figuring it out. It was a good time. So happy to be here.
How has the course changed from prior years?
Well, they shifted it a little bit to the left down there in turn 2 to avoid kind of the shallow area down there. And the corner up here is wider and the corner down in 2 is skinnier. So it's a little bit different course, but we're on the water. Everybody has to go around the same buoys. So it is what it is. And, it worked out good for us today. We got one decent lap in there, and so that's all we wanted to do today was just get the boat figured out, make sure it steered straight and everything was perfect, and then we'll start worrying about Guntersville.
Absolutely. And with it being wider and skinnier in one end, every racer has to run the same course, but how does that affect you as a driver? What sorts of things do you have to be aware of with those changes?
Well, you just got to know how your boat's set up. I mean, some crew chiefs are going to want their boat set up for the small turn, and some crew chiefs are going to want their boat set up for the big turn. Knowing what that is as a driver and a crew chief and having a conversation about that, knowing what you're set up for is crucial, because you got to know what's happening, and how it's going to react. If you got a big, giant, tall gearbox because you're set up for one thing and you go into the corner tight, in the tight corner, you're going to lose a lot of speed. So it's just understanding what your boat's going to do between you and crew chief on how you actually have it set up.
So there's probably a lot of collaboration between you and the crew chief of knowing how the boat is set up and how you might need to drive to go on the inside for certain turns, on the outside for certain turns. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you want to know what you have, because the more you know, the better you can be. So we have a lot of conversations about how we're setting our stuff up and have an understanding of what that's doing, and then it's up to me to follow through and put the boat where we think it needs to be.
So from last year to this year, tell me about the boat.
There's not a whole lot of changes to our boat. There's always something. The boats never just are the same year to year to year. But we kind of keep those to ourselves. But as far as like what people can see is just, we lost our mohawks and stuff like that we have on top of our cowlings and things like that. So there's some things there, and a lot of work went into the 8 boat to get it more streamlined with the 9, because that's kind of we've learned a lot of stuff with the 9, and now we're translating those into the 8 to make the 8 a faster boat. So that was a lot of stuff. Emphasis with our team this year was getting more work done to the 8. So as far as all the other stuff, it's just maintenance and making sure, replacing parts that don't look great and they need some work. You might as well just fix it while you have the stuff apart. So that's a lot of it to the off season, and then just making sure your engines are good and your gearboxes are good and everything's functioning properly, and creating a good inventory for your future. That's what we do in the off season for the most part.
And you and the 9 and JMK for the 8, so it seems like he's had more changes on the off season than you have.
Yeah, the last few years we've been doing a lot more to the 8 boat to get it, because with the Campbells as our crew chief and Mike Campbell on our team, they've learned a lot with the 9 and been able to put the 9 out front and make it a very fast boat. And so what they've done now is they're taking some of their knowledge with the 9 that they did and implementing it into the 8. And, it's showing that the 8 is getting faster, it's getting better, and Mike's getting more comfortable in it, and he loves his ride. So, things are going in the right direction.
And one thing that JMK has that you don't have yet is that the high driver point championship that he won in 2 years ago in 2023. Is that something that's in the back of your mind at all? I mean, of course, you always want to win, but where is that on your hierarchy of list of to-dos?
It's up there. For me, it's, I think I could have won it, over the last, going into my 5th season with Strong, I think I could have won it 3 times. But, there's things that happen that causes that not to happen. I've had some awesome opportunities to do it, but just haven't been able to follow through. But for me, what I think it is, I got to get through Madison. Madison is a killer for me. And we've broke there. We've had some bad heats and stuff like that. And, if I can just get down to Madison, keep a clean head and, run a clean race down there, I think you will find us at the top. So this guy's got to have that mentality. When I go to Madison, it's just getting through Madison. Madison is brutal, not just to me, to everybody, but you got to survive Madison. If you don't, you're not going to win. You're not going to win the high point. And I've proved it year after year. So I'm really going to focus on Madison this year.
Blowovers happen, and the blowover happened to you at Madison, even at testing, to see that. What goes through your mind when something like that happens?
Well, for me, I just turn it off, So what's nice about me is I can shut my brain off really quick and not even think about something, and I'll never remember it again. So I don't know if that's a blessing or not, but I've always been able to do that, and that's kind of what I do. If things aren't going good, you just shut it off, and you can't make everybody happy. You just got to make yourself happy. So just short-term memory, it works out great for me.
So looking for High Point Championship, and something that you have multiple of is a Gold Cup, and of course the Gold Cup in Tri-Cities. I think that was one of my first times interviewing you, was after you won the Gold Cup.
Having the Gold Cup here with Daryl and Vanessa, our owners, being from here, it's huge, It's big for them, it's big for our team, it's big for the city. So, of course I want to do well. I always want to do well. I do this to win. And, but to win the Gold Cup here on their course, and the course I do so well in, it'd be pretty nice. But, you gotta get to the final, you gotta stay clean, and then you have to get to the first turn first. So, we'll find out in July.
We'll find out in July. Well, Corey, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Again, that is Corey Peabody, driver of the U9 Miss Beacon Plumbing, part of Strong Racing. When we come back, we'll hear from teammate of Corey, J. Michael Kelley, that drives the U8 Miss Beacon Electric. You're listening to Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Inconveniences can happen at, inconvenient times. JRT Mechanical has plumbers and HVAC technicians available 24/7 if an emergency does arise. Or if you feel like your house isn't cooling like it used to, or if you're tired of a hose leaking from last winter's freeze, JRT is an honest, reliable company that's been in the Pacific Northwest for more than 3 decades. Give JRT Mechanical a call at 509-314-4314 or visit jrtmechanical.com.
If you've got a winery, brewery, or dairy, why buy industrial parts and supplies from across the country? Central Industrial Sales is your local source for supplies and equipment for the dairy, food processing, winery, and brewing industries. We specialize in custom fabrication, industrial cleaning equipment, sanitary fittings, valves, pumps, chemicals, and many other supplies. Everything's available through our website, by phone, or by dropping by our office. Call 509-375-4032 or find us at centralindustrialsales.com.
What goes better with your Father's Day barbecue than donuts? Nothing. Celebrate Dad with a dozen from your local Krispy Kreme and add a dozen original glazed for just $9.99 to make the day even more special. School's out, so congratulations to all the graduates. Summer fundraising? Still available. Book yours now. Check the Krispy Kreme app for new donut drops and deals. That's Krispy Kreme, 2805 Dupertail in Richland. Come in with a sweet tooth, leave with a smile.
For decades, some dealers have played the same game, adding pointless accessories, raising prices, marking things up with market shifts. In 2020, it was chip shortages. Now, pricing uncertainty. But McCurley Chevrolet didn't raise prices then, and we won't now. We've always priced vehicles the right way for our community. Fair, transparent, and pressure-free. Skip the games. This is the way buying should feel. McCurley Chevrolet, your way home.
Listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Welcome back to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. Well, we heard from Corey Peabody. Now we're joined by his teammate, J. Michael Kelley, a driver of the U8 Miss Beacon Electric. Yep. How's it going?
Going good. A little wet out now, but other than that, it's been a pretty successful test day for us.
It is a water sport.
Yeah. Normally we're not doing it that much with the rain, but it happens, and we're going to take full advantage of still going out and learn what we can, whether it's rain or sun. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. How has it changed from your boat last year to this year? Now that you've had it on the water, what are your thoughts? What did you change?
Really pleased on how it ran today. We didn't get out a ton, but the reason for that was because everything seemed to work the way we wanted to, and we didn't want to ruin the equipment before the first race. We came here, wanted to fill out the boat, and it worked the way we thought it would. And the guys worked really hard this off season, put a ton of work into the 8 boat, and used a lot of the stuff that made the 9 boat go fast and brought it into the 8. And so guys nonstop working on our equipment, and really pleased on how the day went.
And Strong Racing has won the Gold Cup the past 3 years, and this time is back in the Tri-Cities, which that's when Corey won it in 2022. What is the significance to a driver of the Gold Cup? Of course, we know the history of it, but what does it feel like winning that, where it just is a little bit more of a win than a normal win?
Yeah, I mean, you feel like you're on top of the world. There's so many names, so much history behind the trophy, so many names, heroes of ours that are on there, and to be, considered or to win that trophy and have your name next to those guys that are on there, it's just one of the neatest things in the world. And I've done it twice, and Corey's done it twice, and it's pretty cool. There's been a lot of guys that have had a lot of success in the unlimited category that haven't done it. It's not an easy task to do. We're all out there racing hard and hoping that we can all hold that trophy above our head. And so when you do, I mean, it's an amazing feeling, and that's just really cool.
With the drivers, you see kind of the same faces, getting to see the same drivers time and time again as you're going 200 miles an hour on the water.
The talent we have in the unlimited category right now, and the competition and stuff like that, it's just, it's great for the sport. Great to have this opportunity and be a part of it,
And you've done a lot in your career. We talk about Gold Cup, drivers, high points champion. Got the chance to witness that in Seattle a couple years ago. What's something, I guess, that you want to check off your list this year? What's your focus this year? Because it's not like, I haven't done that.
I just want to have a consistent year. I want to go out and run consistent, run strong, finish every heat, no penalties, run clean, and if you can do that, you can find yourselves, doing really well on points. And, I feel 2004 was my rookie season. My first race was here in the Tri-Cities, and, it's crazy to think, 2004, it's been a long time. So I've been doing it a long time, and I feel like every year, though, that I continue to get better. I don't feel like I've topped out. I think I still have a lot left in me. So, like now, it's just more so. I got kids that are racing now, and so I'm having a lot of fun doing that and helping them. And I'm hoping that this sport will stick around and continue to be really fun to watch. And I still have a ride, and maybe one day I can race against my kids, and then start cheering them on.
Yeah, right behind us we have the 1 liter the T-boat that your son Carson drives on. I saw you on radio, so What's that experience like, where you're out there, you're driving an H1 boat, and then all of a sudden you put the radio on and you're being the radio guy for your son?
Yeah, no, it's exciting. Carson's done really well so far in his racing career, but it's like one thing out there, like I'll go out and hang the boat, get it really light on the water. Well, I see my kid doing it, I'm on the radio telling him, don't do that, So it's hard, being a dad, you're kind of like, well, but it's exciting. I think it's a really good sport for the family. The boys and I, like at this time of the year, we pretty much race into every weekend, and we're together every weekend as a family, and I think that's really important, just being able to have family time, and it's a great atmosphere for them. A lot of great fans, made a lot of friends over the years just from people standing on the sidelines and talking to them. So it's just it's pretty cool.
And it's not just you and your son, but I feel like the whole Kelley family. Your sister was a driver as well. So you were one of those people that, quote unquote, born into it.
Yeah.
What has the sport of boat racing given you?
Friends and family, really. I look forward to it every year. I don't know. It's just a special sport, really. It's every race site that I go to, I look forward to seeing people, fans and stuff, and I've become friends with a lot of people over the years, and so it's nice when I go to these places and catch back up and hang out with them and things like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So 2004, you had your first race in the Tri-Cities, and now 2025, the Gold Cup is here. What is your favorite part about racing in the Tri-Cities?
Well, I think you brought it up. Just this was the very first time I ever got a driving unlimited was here, and to look back on that, thinking like I shouldn't have probably ever been put in that thing, but to look back and to think that I've made it work, and here I am, and I'm still going, and it's pretty. I think that's says a lot.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, that is J. Michael Kelley, driver of the U8 NISA Beacon Electric for Strong Racing. It's the countdown to the Tri-City Water Follies happening the last week of July. You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Well, that wraps up this week's show of the Sports Council. Thank you for joining me on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. A reminder, the Sports Council happens 4 times a month, 11:30 a.m. on Thursdays. You can listen to this show not just over the airwaves at 11:30 on Thursdays, but also on demand at 1340ESPNradio.com via podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, just search for the Sports Council, and it's also available via YouTube. So lots of ways to listen to the Sports Council and support our local sports community. Until next time, I'm Jamie Council. Now we go back to your originally scheduled Seattle sports programming.